I have already posted about Putin earlier in this month, the beginning of March, but he's in warrior mode. Remember that Russia has been losing all of their satellite countries that they wound up dominating after World War II. They've been slowly going over to the EU and the NATO side, and he's got vital economic interests to protect because of all the oil and gas that he sells over to Europe. So this isn't just about his personal pride, it's about the economic future of Russia and how affluent they're going to be. So this is no small matter for Putin, and let's look at his chart now. All right, as I said, Putin is in warrior mode. He's into protecting the vital interest of Russia and, of course, his own economic interest. And it shows right in the chart. He is the major initiator. He is not going to back down. He's going to press forward. I'm thinking he's going to try and take more of Ukraine. And then remember that Europe and NATO and the United States have already drawn a line in the sand that they will take military action against him if he does. Well, he's going to call that bluff. Um, the aspects are very clear, and he is going to be pushing this. He'll start the crisis mode in this April. I don't think we'll see resolution until almost May. Let's look at some more very interesting charts. Next is Angela Merkel. We haven't heard a lot about her in the American news, but she is a very key figure in this because Germany does so much business with Russia. And then on the other side, all of Europe is dependent upon Russia for its oil and gas. And who is the biggest banker in EU and all of the EU recovery? It's the German banks. So she winds up being a critical factor in all of this, and she is going to wind up being in the news. Don't be illusioned by how the American Express always emphasizes us and Obama. The very crucial figure here is going to be Angela Merkel. These charts are from the German newspaper Das Spiegel, and notice that the amount of money that's interchanged between Europe and Russia and how big German interests are with the Russian economics. And you can see that 36 to 35% of crude oil and gas comes from Russia and feeds all of Europe, and particularly in Germany, excuse me, for Germany. And then you can see how big the trading partners are between Germany and all of Europe and then Russia at the bottom. So this shows you this is bottom line about dollars and cents and basic economic security. So here is Merkel's chart with these current transits, and she's right in the middle of the bullseye. There's no way she's not going to be involved because she is between a rock and a hard spot. She's a major negotiator with Russia, and she's got to protect business interests in Germany, and at the same time, she has to protect the banking interest in all of Europe because they are the major players in Europe. They've got the money and the economics, and they're the powerhouse in Europe. So she has to balance one against the other. At the same time, she's involved with NATO and pulling in Obama, trying to play one off the other and not being able to take too much heat, but it still falls all in her lap. And you can see from this chart, it's all on her lap. And she's head to head with Putin on this. So she's going to be in the center of attention in this April time period. Okay, this is the chart from Fukushima when they had the first nuclear accident with the tsunami in 2011, I think it was. And the current events aspect this chart. If you remember, they are removing nuclear fuel rods out of the destroyed reactors. It's going to take more than a year or a couple of years to do that. Is there a possibility that they have an additional accident? Is it a possibility that Japan has another earthquake because those water tanks that are holding dirty radioactive water are leaking into the groundwater and into the ocean. So I think Fukushima might just be in the news too. Let's go on to the next one. Iran is in the news too. Are we going to lift trade embargoes with Iran? Are they going to be willing to do some other negotiations in being able to lift those embargoes and participate more into world events? Or are they going to be siding with Russia during this conflict with Iran? Because those are their business partners and they do get some of their military support from Russia. And of course, that's involved with Syria too. I don't think Syria is particularly involved with this, but Iran definitely is. We're going to see some more activity of Iran in this whole battle between Europe and Russia. Next chart, please. All right, last but not least is the NSA. I think they're going to be getting bad press all of this year, and they do have some effects with the Grand Cross and the eclipse. They're already in the news because slowly uh, Snowden keeps leaking additional information that embarrasses them, and they're going to be called on the carpet, of course, but they should be continuing to be in the news and perhaps be in a little bit more of a scandal mode. You know, there's some more shoes to be dropped here. So they're activated too. And then, of course, we have Snowden's chart, which is next. Yes, he will continue to be in the news and be a thorn in their side and a continuing embarrassment, but it's a necessary result considering how much lack of privacy we have. I'd like to point out for everyone to be careful with their driving and their tempers. We can be very distracted during this time, so you want to be extra careful with your driving to avoid accidents or people around you that may be accident prone. Um, so we wish you the best and be cautious during this period of time. And it won't last that long, but it should be interesting. All right, I'll post next at third quarter. Thanks and goodbye.